Yeah, I went live. I didn't add myself to the live stream. That sounds about right. Hello, welcome everybody to this impromptu Genrewise live stream. I was going to make this as a video, and then I thought it might be nice to be able to hang out a little bit more. So this is what we are doing right now. Now, Genrewise, if you haven't seen it before, is a series that I do every month where I talk about science fiction and fantasy news. So just news about awards and books and film, TV, all that kind of good stuff. I also do a section called IRL News every month, which I was quite worried about doing this month because, you know, the real world has been little tiny bit on fire. So I wasn't sure how to approach this. And then I just kind of started seeing a lot of really cool stuff coming out where people are putting together a really great list of resources for people that are stuck at home and don't really know what to do. Companies are offering things for free or discounts. You know, I just figured it'd be a really nice way to kind of, you know, there are so many things, even in the world of SFF, that are, you know, everything is being affected by the situation. And I thought instead of talking about all the stuff that's not going well, we could talk about all the things that have come out of this that are you know, positive in spite of everything. Just focus the SFF news for this month and some more positive stuff. So I want to say a big thank you to Anna, who is Force of Glory on the internet and has helped with all of the Genrewises for many months since we've started doing this, but also specifically this month is a lot of really good, you know, positivity to, you know, to do. And it also talked me into not canceling Genrewise this month. So thank you, Anna. Let's see, what do we have? So the way the show works is it's divided into 5 categories. We've got awards news, books news, fandom news, film and TV news, and finally IRL news. I'm gonna go in order. I'm gonna focus mostly on IRL news because that's where I've put all the good news, basically. And yeah, there's not actually that much to talk about in terms of awards news for this month because well, you know, the Hugo Awards, which is the award of my heart, the awards that I love the most, and the awards that really you know, I don't know. That's the one that I'm fangirling about the most. Nominations for that have closed, and we don't have finalists yet. I'm not sure when the finalists will be released. I don't think they've set a date yet. Usually it's around Easter. So we'll see how that goes. And then yeah, we've got finalists though for the Lambda Literary Awards. So these are LGBTQIA literary awards, and we've got a list of finalists for the Lambda Awards that are in a bunch of different categories. And there is, if I am remembering correctly, a SFF category. I hope I'm not lying to you all. I think there might be several SFF. There we go. I've got it. Totally new genre. So I apologize if some of it is just a little bit ropier than usual, obviously, but I'm hoping that the fact that we're here and we can have a chat does make up for it. We've got in the LGBTQ science fiction, fantasy, and horror category of Lambda Literary, we've got some really cool finalists like Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James, The Deep by River Solomon, David Diggs, William Huston, and Jonathan Snipes, who are the members of the band Clipping. And we've got The Priority Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, which I'm reading right now. Loads more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put links to everything in the description box below, as I normally do for Genrewise. That will probably happen after the stream, because right now I just don't have my ducks in a row. Let's be real. What happens right now, what is the reason mostly that this is a stream as opposed to a video, is that I haven't had time to be as prepared for this as I normally am. So this is slightly more off the cuff than usual, but there will be a link, of course, to the Lambda Literary Awards down in the description below. When we hear what is going on with the Hugos, I will talk about it in next month's Genrewise. But from awards, let's move on to books. And of course, if you have any like questions or reactions, or if you have any like additional news that you want to share, do let me know. I can see that there's a few people in the chat, although Thomas is saying that he can't stay and watch, but we've got Tristan and Titan, so welcome everybody. And yeah, for books, I'm really excited to see more of the partnership between Serial Box and Marvel. Serial Box Publishing is this really innovative, cool publisher that does serialized fiction. So the way that they work is that they have kind of like a writer's room, like if they were a TV show or something like that. And this writer's room like gets together and writes a whole story, but in parts, and then it's serialized on the Serial Box website and on the app over time. And so this these new series that they have in partnership with Marvel that are really cool. They've already got, I believe, a Thor series going on right now that I've reported on before for Genrewise. But right now, they've got a Serial Box exclusive called Black Widow Bad Blood that's going to be coming out, and that is obviously Black Widow. So that's Natasha Romanoff. So a character that I really I don't love in the films as much because they haven't done her justice, but I really love in general and in fandom as well. This is written by Lindsay Smith, Mickey Kendall, L.L. McKinney, Margaret Dunlap, and Taylor Stevens, and edited by Taylor Stevens. So like some pretty impressive names there. And there is also a Jessica Jones serial coming from Serial Box as well. It's called Jessica Jones Playing with Fire, and that is written by Lauren Bucas, Vita Ayala, Sam Beck-Bessinger, Zoe Quinn, and Elsa Sunison Henry. It's narrated by Frida Wolf, so that is going to come also as an audiobook, which is really cool. Jessica Jones Playing with Fire comes out May 6th, and then Black Widow comes out in spring 2020. They don't have a date right now, but you can pre-order it already, so you can buy like the whole season. I think you can buy it episode by episode if you go on the website, but obviously they want people to pre-order the full thing, so there we go. Yeah, so they've got some Marvel stuff that's available right now if you're interested in that, but that's the stuff that's coming out pretty soon. And I've got a few more people saying hi, so hello to Eric and Diary of a Bookaholic, and Kyle and E. Some people not being able to watch right now, but yeah, Kyle says, I'm sure I've seen a few authors sharing free short stories, and maybe one of them is Adrian Tchaikovsky. I'll have to check. Basically, what I've got is it's coming up later in the show because I normally do IRL news at the end. But what I've got is a lot of lists of like free resources for enjoying yourself while social distancing, but on the cheap. Various hashtags and threads where people have promoted that stuff. I have seen free fiction given out by the authors themselves, and I've got some of that coming up. So that is coming up a little bit later in the show. But there are also this book news I thought was adorable because it is tie-in books for The Dragon Prince, obviously the Netflix show. This is middle grade. I've watched like one episode of it. I really need to go back and watch more of it because I just did one episode to try it out and it was adorable, so I want to go back to that. But they've announced 3 tie-in books for The Dragon Prince coming in 2020, published by Wonderstorm and Scholastic. The first one is called Kelm's Spellbook. It's out on March the 3rd, so it's out now. And then there's a one out in June 2nd, 2020, The Dragon Prince Book 1 Moon. And on September the 15th, Through the Moon. This news comes to you from just a tweet. Sometimes I have, detailed articles that I'm pulling these news from, and sometimes it's a tweet. And in this case, because it's just a tweet, I can't actually see the authors written out often with tie-in books, especially, or like books for little kids. It can be difficult to, so I can see that there are authors' names on those books, but they're just too small for me to see in the picture. So I'm very, very sorry about that. Normally, I try to make sure that I know the names of all the people involved. Whoops. Another really, really exciting thing is that Escape Pod is getting a print anthology. So Escape Pod is a science fiction podcast, and it's science fiction, like actual fiction podcast. I'm explaining this real wrong. Escape Pod is a podcast that publishes original science fiction stories, and basically you can just listen to them as an audiobook, but they're science fiction short stories. Escape Pod has been going for a very long time, and they're a very well-respected, award-nominated force in SFF, in the SFF genre. They were nominated for a Hugo fairly recently, and now they have their first ever print anthology, which is super exciting. It comes out in October 2020 from Titan Books, and it's going to gather like stories from the 15 years that they've been podcasting, which is really, really exciting. So the book itself is called Escape Pod, the Science Fiction Anthology, and it is going to feature new and exclusive stories from best-selling writers. The book itself, in front of the book, it says John Scalzi, Mary Robinette Kowal, Ken Liu, Cory Doctorow, Cameron Hurley, and many more. I'm sure there's going to be many more names than that, but even just those is like pretty exciting. This is edited by Mur Lafferty and SB. This is edited by Mur Lafferty and SB Divya, who are the editors of Escape Pod, and I can't wait to like actually have that, because like the podcast is really cool to listen to, but it would be great to have like a physical book. I'm making grabby hands at it, and it's not out until October, but whatever, this is just how it goes with cool books. The next thing that I'm super excited about is that there is now going to be an illustrated edition of Tolkien's Unfinished Tales. Now, I love Tolkien, and I'm a Tolkien. I would consider myself a Tolkien fan and a Tolkien nerd, but like not to that point. Like I haven't read Unfinished Tales. So I thought it'd be maybe a cool, opportunity, just because there's now this new illustrated edition, to maybe go and like dip into that and like just maybe learn a little bit more Tolkien lore than I knew before. But yeah, this is obviously the book first published in the 1980s, and it's a collection of unfinished stories from Tolkien, like as the name would suggest, but now it's going to be illustrated. The artwork is from Alan Lee, John Howe, and Ted Naismith. And some of the artwork will also be on display in the 2021 Tolkien calendar, which you can get in September. So that would be pretty cool. Like, you always love a calendar that like is beautiful enough that you can take out the pictures and like put them all over your house later. But yeah, I don't know if Unfinished Tales is the first like Tolkien thing that people would recommend you check out if you've never read anything but the actual trilogy and The Hobbit, but it's certainly like a cool opportunity to check it out if you've never checked it out before. The book is going to come out on October the 1st, and of course, there have been several new things released in the past new things. What am I saying? There have been several new editions of previously anyway, this is very hard to do on the fly. I'm very sorry. Like, my hubris in assuming that I could do this on the fly is catching up with me now, because I have read this article, but like 2 weeks ago. So I'm like, wait, what? Anyway, new Tolkien stuff is something that I'm pretty excited for, even though the words aren't actually new. Speaking of something that's like actually a new story, Everyone Book, which is a small publisher, a small independent publisher out of the US, which is very well respected, with some really, impressive award-winning SFF editors at the helm of it. Everyone Books. Okay, do you know what? I love the editing team behind this. Like, I think they have some like really great work coming out, but I kind of resent that they picked a name that I can pronounce so little of the time. Erewhon Books? I'm gonna go with that. Who knows if it's actually how you're supposed to say it. Erewhon Books is going to be publishing some climate fiction, some new South Asian climate fiction from debut author Olivia Chada, which, again, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, and I'm sorry. It is called Rise of the Red Hand, and it is a rare, searing portrayal of the future of climate change in South Asia, as they are saying on their website. And it is out in January 2021 from Erewhon Books. So that's pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to that one. That's edited by Sarah Guan, which I'm, that tells me that it's certainly a badge of quality, probably. I don't know. Anyway, books. Has anybody else got other books news that they want to talk about? Because those were the book news. It's Everyone. I know I'm sounding like it's Everyone Books, but I'm putting the spelling of it actually in the chat so you can see. But there will be links to all of these in the description box after I'm done with telling you all about them. But yeah, usually books is by far the biggest section of Genrewise. Usually I have to cut stuff because, there's so many announcements for exciting books, and either the announcements aren't happening or they're getting lost. In fact, what I've heard is several people who I know, this is more anecdotal because it's just people I know and I've seen on Facebook and whatever, but I've seen a few people just pushing book releases, just moving them back because right now, you can't do press for them, you can't do promo for them, you can't do meetups obviously in bookstores and stuff, so people are just kind of pushing books and maybe not publishing them straight away, but pushing them to, I don't know, like July or August, and hoping that by that point it'll be just a little bit easier. So this is actually quite little in terms of book news, which is kind of fortunate because my IRL section is roughly 5 times longer than usual. But with that, let's move on to fandom news. And in fandom, the really hard thing is that usually in fandom I talk about transformative fandom, so like fanfic fandom and stuff like that, and I also talk about conventions. And the really hard thing is to see so many people who've worked so hard on conventions for so long. Like, it takes such a long time to prep conventions, and to see so many conventions having to, it's the right decision to cancel the con or to postpone it. It's absolutely the right thing that they are all doing, but I feel super bad for con runners because, when you're staff or volunteer at a con, it's so much work and it feels so important, and like I feel real bad. So going out to con runners everywhere who are struggling right now. I see how much work you're putting into everything. Thank you so much for doing all of that for us. And thank you for canceling, because it's the right thing to do. And the other thing that I don't know if it's news yet, because, I've seen people talking on Twitter a little bit very recently about maybe trying to organize something a little bit online, like a bit of a con online, streaming panels and things like that. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I'm hearing rumblings, and I'm very interested in helping out in any way that I can to make those rumblings happen. So I have already kind of told the people I'm hearing the rumblings from that, I'm in, and to contact me if anything is going on, if they have any questions. I've recommended StreamYard to them because it's cool, and that's what I'm streaming on right now, by the way, if you don't know this. YouTube screwed up another thing. YouTube screwed up Hangouts live on air, and so we were forced to find other alternatives for streaming, and StreamYard materialized, and it's pretty awesome. So I've recommended that. And yeah, I sincerely hope to be able to give you more news about alternative methods of conventioning while we're all at home. For now, I will just share the fact that the people who have brought this up have decided to call it contamination, and I am mildly in love with that pun. So here's hoping that works out for everybody. I've got some fairly unmitigated good news from fandom as well, which I'm very excited for. And that is that the organization Fandom Trumps Hate, which is a transformative fandom organization that basically runs fanfic auctions. So what they do is they pick charities that they think could benefit from having some money, and they run a fanfic auction where someone says, hey, I'll write a fanfic of this many words, and then somebody else says, wow, I love this fanfic author, I'm gonna pay them some money, I'm gonna pay some money to charity for them to write me a story. And so Fandom Trumps Hate in 2020 was raising money, and now, Fandom Trumps Hate has been going for a few years, and it's on Tumblr, and it's been doing great things for the years that it's been going. But this year, they had more creators than ever before. They had over 500, almost 600 people offer to create something. They had 700 plus fan works in almost 300 fandoms, and they raised $32,727, which is okay, everybody knows it's a lot of money. I don't need to be telling you it's a lot of money, but $32,000, which is pretty amazing. And they raise all these money for different organizations. There's a lot of them, but they include some stuff like the Clean Water Funds and Border Angels and Rains and Spread the Vote and stuff like that. They are a lot of them, if not all, I don't actually know, but a lot of them are US based, but they also do some pretty great work. They also had donations for Australian wildfire relief organizations and stuff like that. And over the past 4 years that they've been going, they've actually now raised over $100,000, which is huge. Fandom Trumps Hate is pretty amazing, and I love that it's a thing that exists, and that we, as a transformative fiction fandom, that we are kind of joining together for the power of good, which is lovely. Another thing that they're doing right now, I don't know if they're planning on doing another fundraiser or another thing like that for COVID-19 relief in any way, but what they are actually doing. So I don't know if they're going to do another auction, is what I'm saying. What they are doing in order to support people affected by you know, financial issues that are due to COVID-19 is they've started a spreadsheet to support one another through the current crisis. It's called the Central Directory of Creator, which abbreviates to Fandom CDC, which is adorable. And so again, that will be linked in the description below, but the directory is like it's a spreadsheet basically where people who make fan works, you know, fan fiction, fan videos, fan art, all that kind of stuff, like people are listed who have made stuff, and then there's a link to their store, their, you know, Etsy or whatever, their merchandise, their coffee, their Patreon, whatever it might be. There's a link to a way to support them. And so if you want to check out like either the page that this is on so that you can see, you know, if you want. All right, fine. Sorry. Earbud fell off, whatever. If you want to check out the page to get more information on what this is and why it's for, or if you want to check out the directory itself to see if there's anybody that you want to support, basically like it's for people who are in fandom and who are currently struggling and who could do with some help to like put themselves out there. And so if you want to support, you can go and check it out. So basically to connect those fans like me who are just like, I'm sat at home and I can't do anything but find good places and good people and good organizations to support, and other folks who are like, I want to keep making stuff, but also I need to pay rent. So I just think it's a wonderful initiative, and I'm super glad that they're doing something like that. So there will be links to both of these in the description, of course, after the end of the thing. Again, entirely because I was unprepared, so I'm sorry about that. Moving on to film and TV. We knew there was going to be a new season of She-Ra, but the new season of She-Ra is coming real soon. The new season of She-Ra is coming May 15th, and it's going to be the final season. You know, it's a show that I really, really love, and so it sucks to see it end, but at the same time, it is always good to see shows ending like when they want to, in the way that they want to. And, you know, having seen a few shows recently like wrap up really the way that they wanted to, I'm very excited to see more of that. And yeah, I mean, I'm May 15th, the final season of She-Ra. I know I'm gonna just cry. So yeah, I'm super excited to see it. Absolutely. I have no idea what's gonna happen. So yeah, pretty excited to see that. We've got some cool announcements of new things that are being developed. Rebecca Rowenhorse, who is a sci-fi and fantasy author, recently announced that she got a movie deal for her Hugo Award winning. I want to say winning. I'm pretty sure it won the Hugo, but for her certainly award-winning and award-nominated many times story, Welcome to Your Authentic Indian Experience, TM. So this is a story. Yeah, there you go. Hugo Award winner. I knew that. Why am I doubting myself? I am a massive Hugo nerd. I remember this stuff. You know, I'm very forgetful in many ways, but shockingly, I remember a number of recent Hugo winners pretty well. So there you go. So Rebecca Rowenhorse's Welcome to Your Authentic Indian Experience is a short story that is very, you know, obviously very beloved in the community because it won a Hugo, and that is coming, that is being developed as a movie. And if you want to check it out, it's actually available to read on Apex Magazine for free, and it's also been picked for LeVar Burton Reads, so you can actually just have LeVar Burton read it to you. I am going to link in the description below the tweet where Rebecca Rowenhorse announces this, and then the tweets below that one in the same thread where you can go either read it or have LeVar Burton read it to you, which is pretty sweet. The next thing that's being developed is, so the Rebecca Roanhorse thing was a film. Now this is a TV series that is now in the works. That's just I think it's recently been announced, but there is going to be a Last of Us series. It's in the works from the team at HBO that did Chernobyl. So certainly, very well acclaimed stuff. And then The Last of Us, which is obviously a very popular video game, as I'm sure many people watching will know. I don't actually know what The Last of Us is about because, someone hasn't played that on their channel. So if they haven't played it and I haven't edited it, I can't know what it's about now, can I? Someone tell me about The Last of Us in the comments, please, if anybody is a fan of that. But it's obviously a very popular, very well-loved game, and it's coming to HBO as a series. And it certainly sounds like the kind of story that would do well at HBO, and certainly, again, by an acclaimed team. So that seems pretty good. Just winging it. This is what happens when I don't do as much research as usual. This show includes a lot of research normally, folks. Just want you to know. Normally, I sound like I know what I'm talking about because I did a lot. Oh, there you go. This laptop is not actually very happy with me right now, and I hope it's gonna be okay because I don't want to buy a new laptop. So there you go. Oh, it's because it was trying to autoplay a video like a sneaky git. I see. Tristan says that's not a. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Okay. Titan says The Last of Us is about a psychopath and his adoptive daughter killing everybody, and they meet and dooming humanity. Fair enough. I see. A fungus mutates, and when people are infected, they turn into zombies. Nice. Joel escorts a young woman who is infected but immune. There you go. I love a good zombie thing, so that sounds good to me. I'm pretty excited about that. So that's The Last of Us. And the next thing that I've got on my list is that Ava DuVernay is now developing a sci-fi series at Amazon based on the book Dawn, which is an Octavia E. Butler novel. It's the first in the in her three-part. This is the first in a trilogy that is known as Lilith's Brood. Okay, I can't do TH with an S after that. That's not possible. So Dawn is the first book in Octavia Butler's Lilith Brood series. The second and third books are called Adulthood, Rights, and Imago, and they are classics of the genre. Of course, they are classics, and they are being adapted by Ava DuVernay, and it's for Amazon. It's for Amazon Video, and it is going to be it's adapted by Ava. Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly what everyone's roles are because it just says they are developing stuff. It doesn't say who's actually directing or producing or executive producing or whatever. But the people developing this are Ava DuVernay and also Victoria Mahoney, who directed some Star Wars before. Yeah, there you go. So she has worked on Star Wars before, and now she's working on Dawn with Ava DuVernay, which is pretty cool. And so of course this is one of many things that Ava DuVernay is doing, but the next thing that we have is also an Ava DuVernay project, which is pretty cool. She is going to, she's going to be, again, adapting. What does that exactly mean? She is working on developing. She's working on developing a middle grade book, a children's book. She's working on developing T. Sutherland's animations to develop a Wings of Fire series, so the Dragonette Prophecy books by T. Sutherland, and that just sounds delightful. I mean, I don't know what else to say apart from like there's a little picture of presumably the cover of the book in this news article from Deadline, and it looks freaking adorable, and I cannot wait for it because I love anything with a dragon in it. So I'm very excited for that, certainly. This next one I absolutely love. It is casting news, and it is the news that Gina Torres is going to be headlining a new Dracula-inspired or Dracula reimagining show for ABC. It's called The Brides, and so Gina Torres is going to play one of the brides of Dracula, who are like, in the book Dracula, the brides of Dracula are sexy vampire ladies that try to, overpower the main character. I mean, I don't know. Debatable who the main character of that book is, but whatever. They try to overpower the guy with their sexy, feminine vampire wiles. And Gina Torres is going to lead the cast of The Brides. It is made by the developer and executive producer from Riverdale and The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, and it's with the Warner Brothers Television, sorry. So that's exciting. I'm going to be checking that out. It sounds cool. I freaking love Gina Torres. What can I say? Gina Torres should be, scary and sexy all the time because you gotta play to your strength. Anyway, the final piece of news I've got for film and TV is very, very exciting, and that is that John Boyega has signed a deal with Netflix specifically to develop African films. So it's John Boyega's production company, Upper Room, and they've signed this deal with Netflix to develop non-English films that focus on West and East Africa, which is pretty cool, like just kind of diversifying what it is that you can actually see on Netflix. And obviously these are things that we will be able to watch with subtitles and stuff. Like, I just think it's really cool that we're going to be able to get a little bit more different things. So I'm very excited to see what happens with that. There's no announcement yet in terms of like what those movies will be, but we know that there are 3 movies right now as part of the deal, including 2 from Nigeria and 1 from Egypt. And they are based on African IP, literary properties, Nollywood classics, screenplay, and mythology, which sounds pretty good. So yeah, we'll have to see. Basically, this is the kind of thing. Now that I've seen this piece of news, I'm going to try and keep an eye out for it. And hopefully some of the stuff that comes out is going to be speculative. It's going to be relevant to us as SFF fans. And, I'll be interested to check out whatever it is, even if it's not speculative, but I would rather it be speculative because science fiction and fantasy is always my preference anyway. Dear, oh dear. And then, so that wraps up film and TV. I'm going to move on to IRL, but before we do that, Titan is saying they are going to have they're going to have to work hard to trump the last season of Castlevania. I'm not sure anybody is trying to like one up anybody else here though. Like I don't know if you mean the Brides TV show, but I just, there can be more than one thing that is about the same like topic or whatever. Like there can be more than, I don't know. It's the kind of thing that amuses me whenever someone starts like say yelling about the fact that Hunger Games is a ripoff of Battle Royale, as if Battle Royale wasn't also based on this like thing in mythology and history, like it's fine if some stuff kind of seems similar. It's fine. We can have more than one thing that's cool that we like sexy vampires and, teenagers fighting to the death. Other things like this metaphor, line of inquiry, line of thought is running into the ground very, very soon. So I'm gonna move on to IRL news, but like good news only, I promise. I felt like I had to, make it clear on the banner. So if people come into the stream right now, they don't see the word IRL and just go away. Because I feel like I would be very much, I would be tempted to do that. So anyway, in IRL news today, we are going to talk about good things that people are doing to cheer everybody up. We are going to share resources. We are going to just try and, just be, a little bit useful, I guess. My hope for Genrewise is always that when people watch it, they really get something out of it. The reason that I work so hard on it and that I do so much research and that I script it fully so that all of it is written out ahead of time so that it's very precise. The reason I normally do all of that is that I want it to be a show that when people are watching it, they feel like, I am getting something out of this. And so today, because I'm not doing all of the work that I feel, makes it really valuable to people to watch, because I'm saying like, let's just actually sit and take way longer than usual to go through these news. What I want to do is make sure that I provide for you like actually a lot of good content. So without too much further ado, let's talk about just general positivity on Twitter to start us off. First up, I want to highlight a couple of different hashtags that people have started on Twitter. Science fiction author Ada Palmer has started the hashtag something beautiful, in which she encourages people to share little pictures and film, pictures, little videos, whatever, of things that are beautiful. Obviously, I shared a tabby picture on it because I'm very predictable, but there is some beautiful stuff in there. And if you just need a break from whatever is going on right now and you just want something that'll make you happy or that'll make you go like, wow, this is cool. There are pictures of cool places. There are, things that are just like quiet and pretty and beautiful. It's nice. It's nice. If you want to just go and see a nice thing, I would highly recommend the something beautiful hashtag. For science fiction fans who have kids and who are at home with their kids right now, I would recommend the hashtag SFF Parents Lockdown. Again, that will all be down in the description below as soon as we're done. This is a hashtag that was shared by Force of Glory, who I mentioned earlier, who is a parent herself. So, lots of cool resources in there, lots of useful stuff. I would not personally recommend it because I don't have a kid, but Force of Glory recommends it. So I encourage you to check it out if that's you and if you need some of that good content to entertain kiddos that are at home. If you are looking to just entertain yourself, again, the metaphor is breaking. If you're just looking to entertain yourself, there are a lot of free and discounted things that you can access that are cool. So I would point out this thread from Bookish Heights, which is a thread of free and 99p diverse books. So if you're looking for some books to read and you want something that's free or that's very cheap, you can check out that thread that I will share down below. There is also a different thread of companies, people, and organizations that are offering free books, services, and performances during this time. So I will absolutely link that. I've also got so those are both Twitter threads. I've got 2 Dreamwidth posts that I will mention that also have some free resources on them. Now, I want to be very clear, like, these are not things that these are things that I've looked at and that I've thought, yes, this is going to be useful for people. These are not things that I've like gone and looked at every single thing. I don't actually know what all of the things that are on there are. I don't know if there's any overlap, for instance. I would assume there's probably quite a bit of overlap in certain places, but I will put all of the links down there so that you can go and check it out and just, find some of that good free or discounted stuff to do while social distancing and stuck at home. I would also point out that author KJ Charles, who write historical romance, but I love her books, so I'm going to talk about them, has put up a whole entire series for free that you can read if you are looking for something to read at this time. It's the Magpie Lord series, which I have heard so much like great things about. So I'm probably going to I'm hopefully at some point we'll have time to go and check that out. I have fallen quite far behind in my reading, so I have to actually get through the books that I'm meant to be reading in March for my D&D reading challenge, because I just need to make sure that that gets done. We've also got there's also an article from the Standard that I wanted to mention. This is mostly for people in London. I'm very sorry if this is like quite niche, but if you're in London and you want yourself some books, there is a link to an article in the Standard about 12 independent bookshops in London that are offering home deliveries. So if you'd like to order yourself some books to arrive at your house and you'd like to support an independent bookshop while doing that, there is going to be a link to that in the description box below. And I would like to point out that one of the bookshops on that list is the All Good Bookshop in Wood Green, which is, which used to be my local and is very much a bookshop I would love to support. I have whatever. It's good. It's good, like it says in the name. The All Good Bookshop in Wood Green used to be the Big Win Bookshop, and I like what they do, and I would like to continue supporting them, which is why I wanted to give them a shout out and do whatever I can to support them. If you're not in London and you would like to still read some stuffs, but you don't have an independent bookshop near you, I would recommend checking out Scribd, because right now Scribd, which is an online platform to borrow books, Scribd is a subscription service where you can borrow ebooks and audiobooks. And I hate to call it that, but it's basically like a subscription for a library, but you have to pay money. Normally, right now, Scribd is offering a free membership. I believe it's for a month, and you do not have to put in your credit card information. You can just go to Scribd and listen to books, read books, unlimited for free right now. And yeah, you don't need to do an account where you put in your credit card details or whatever. So I thought it was quite good of them to, when they were publicizing it, they were making sure to say to people, like, you don't actually need to put credit card detail. I do appreciate that, because, it certainly feels like it certainly feels like more of something that exists to help people rather than something that exists to, you know, hope that people sign up and forget to cancel and then you get their money anyway. So that was quite good to see. The online academic resource JSTOR also is available for free right now. JSTOR has over 6,000 ebooks and over 150 journals accessible in their archive, and you can go and read them now for free without needing an online account. So pardon me, that is also a really big deal. The publisher Angry Robot Books currently has 50% off their entire library of books, whether you're buying one of ebooks, their entire library of ebooks. Sorry, Angry Robot Books, whether you're buying one ebook or like all of their ebooks out of their catalog, all of them are half price. Their announcement thing where they shared that was saying like, guys, we really thought that, like, you know, we're called Angry Robot Books. We really thought the apocalypse would happen because of like robots rising against their human overlords. But as it turns out, no. So there you go. They've got all of their books 50% off, all of their ebooks 50% off. There is also the COVID-19 freelance artist resource, which again I will link down below. This is a list. This is a website on WordPress, so you can go check out. It's a list specifically to serve freelance artists and those that are interested in supporting independent artists. So it's a list of actors, designers, producers, technicians, musicians, composers, choreographers, whatever, you know, anyone who's working as a freelance artist, like, you know, dancers and photographers and filmmakers and visual artists and whatever, writers, obviously writers and playwrights, you name it. It's a list of free resources and opportunities and financial relief options that are available to artists in all discipline. So it's not a place where people go to promote themselves and ask for money, but it is a place where there is a list of resources that people can find. So if you would, if you're in that situation, if you're a person, if you're a freelance artist and you're watching this, like, this is a place to go and find some resources and some help. If that's not you, but you know that person, you can share that with them. And then, yeah, I'm going to obviously link that in the description below with everything else as well. This is what I've got. These are the news that I have. These are the good news. These are the positive, good only IRL news that I have to share with all of you. I hope you enjoyed this. Slightly unusual, extremely unusual genre-wise. I hope this works out. If anybody has other questions about other things, you know, either questions about what I just covered or questions about other stuff, do let me know in the comments. I'm not going to stay a whole 2 hours like I sometimes do 2-hour long streams, but I'm going to stay a little bit longer. So if anyone has questions or wants to talk about what we're reading right now, we could chat a little bit more if you want. But yeah, that's basically the news for Genrewise. Like, I mean, I guess, as I've mentioned before, my usual process for Genrewise is like a lot of research into all of that stuff, fully scripting and writing out completely every piece of news. And then I have a little teleprompter that I put on my camera and that I put my phone in so that it can, you know, I can actually read the news in a newsreaderly manner and, you know, not flounder as I have done today. And then obviously, if you've seen the videos before, you'll know that I edit them with like quite a bit of, you know, I try to have images to illustrate everything, and I try to make it kind of, you know, pacey. So I know this is much longer than usual, and I know this is quite different, but yeah, I just I did take Friday off of work so that I could write up the whole of Genrewise, and then I didn't end up doing it. Sorry, that was a phone call from my dad, so I'm gonna have to call him back when we hang up this live stream. But yeah, if anybody has any questions about anything that we've talked about, or want to tell me what you're reading, or anything like that, please do let me know. I've just finished now today reading the Unspoken Name by A.K. Lockwood, which was really amazing, and I don't know how I blanked on that name for so long. But this was picked. This was a pick from the D&D Picks My Reading video that I do at the beginning of every month. If you haven't seen it, it's called Read for Initiative. I roll some dice, and the dice decides what I read. And basically, one of the dice rolls that I did for what to read, the reading prompt was to read a wildcard audiobook, so literally any audiobook of my choosing that I wanted to, and I immediately knew that I wanted to read The Unspoken Name because people had told me about it and it sounded awesome. It is about a I guess they never really describe any of the characters in terms of like that's what the fantasy races in this world are, but she's definitely an orc. Like, she has gray skin and tusks. I think she has tusks anyway. The tusks are quite important. But she is raised in a death cult. Our main character, Kosorwe, she is raised in like this death cult, and so she knows that when she's 14 years old, she's gonna have to go to her death and be sacrificed to this god, and she's quite ready to do that until a somewhat shady wizard shows up to tell her that she doesn't actually need to do that, and does she want to go away with him and be his apprentice, which obviously she does because it's nice to not die. And then we follow Kosorwe through the next few years as she's like training up, and then I don't want to say too much, but like it's very obvious when you're reading that as an adult who's not a 14-year-old who was indoctrinated by a death cult, to see that like everybody in this situation is extremely shady, and that she's going to have to come to some realization when she grows up. And it's so cool. It's such a good book. I was really genuinely like, I loved it, everything about it. I was really, really chuffed about all of it. So yeah. Oh, there's an error. Oops. I'm hoping that's just an error on my. I just went to the YouTube tab that I had open with this stream on, and it said playback error, and I was like, did the live stream entirely break? It did not. Okay. So let's see. What do we got? Tristan says, "Hey Claire, if you enjoy D&D novels, I've never read a D&D novel. I don't know if I would enjoy it. So the recommendation is the Outcast Dark Sun Tribe of One. Who is that by? Please let us know who the author is. But yes, it's about an elfling with multiple personalities, which is quite interesting. But yes, I've played D&D like once or twice in college. I haven't actually played since then. I am going to be playing new D&D very, very soon. Sorry about that, if that booped the microphone, if you could hear that. I'm going to be playing D&D really, really soon because some friends and I have arranged for doing Skype D&D sometime soon. So that's very exciting. I've started making a character and stuff. She's a dwarf. It's going to be cool. She's a dwarf fighter. And that book is by Simon Hawke. So thank you for that, Tristan. I haven't read, like, it's been a long time since I've read any kind of like epic fantasy, high fantasy. Actually, The Unspoken Name is the first like epic high fantasy I've read in a long time, and I flipping loved it. But yeah, I have to say, like, I've not ever read a book that I either knew was a D&D campaign or like was a D&D branded book. I've not read that. Definitely not recently. I don't think I can recall having read any of that when I was younger either. Eric says, I'm almost done reading Gideon and Ninth. I have 3 books coming this week. A Broken Queen, Between Burning Worlds, and The City We Became. I'm not sure which one I'll read next. Oh, this is exciting. See, the thing is, I was meant to read like 5 books this month, and I've only finished the first one of those. Like 2 of them are shorter, but one of them is 800 pages, and I have started it today, the 22nd. So that's gonna not happen this month. I'm actually going to be buddy reading The Priority of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, which is the 800-page book. I'm gonna be buddy reading that with a friend because I was not starting it. I was not starting it for like 3 weeks, so I'm gonna be buddy reading that with Di from the who does the booktube channel Bookish Di. So and she's been on Stitch and Bitch since the beginning. So if you have seen those, that's who I'm buddy reading with, which is going to be very exciting. I am going to try. This weekend was 24 and 48, which is a chill readathon where you stay, well, obviously where you stay home because everybody's staying home, but this is a readathon that says, you know, there's 48 hours in the weekend. You want to try and read for 24 of these 48 hours. And it's a lot of fun. But because I usually work on Saturdays, I don't end up being able to do it at the same time as everybody else. So I was wanting to do, you know, 24 and 48 like today and tomorrow. But I ended up reading maybe 3 hours today. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to do 21 hours between like tonight and tomorrow, but we'll see. I really do need to like hunker down and actually read those books because if I don't finish one thing and I have to bring one thing, presumably Priority of the Orange Tree, unfinished into April, that's not too much of a problem, but I don't want to bring like 3 or 4 books into April because April is the month of the Owls readathon, and I want to do that readathon, and I've already selected books to read for that readathon, so we're gonna have to see about that. But I'm very tired and I'm a little hungry, so I want to go and put some dinner in the oven, and I need to call my dad back. So I am going to end here unless anybody has any other comments to make about the news or the books or anything like that. I hope you enjoyed this like slightly weird version of Genrewise. I hope it works out for this month. It's not gonna turn into a stream series because it's not really adapted to that very well at all. But I'm happy we were able to do it like that and we didn't end up having to skip a month, and I'm very happy for everyone who turned out. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments, and I will be posting more videos soon because I've got some stuff recorded that I need to edit tomorrow. So I will see you on the channel very, very soon. Bye.